Yeah.
As you know, I'm one of the owners of Paca Pride Guest Ranch. We're base camp for your mountain loop experience out here. We're located along a national scenic byway that is famed for its tourism route. It's called the Mountain Loop Highway. It's famed for all of its scenic attractions, hiking trails, and national forest campgrounds. And also up this road, there are some private campgrounds. One of the big ones out here is an LGBT community campground called
Nice.
Triangle Recreation Campground. And that's where we got our start here on the Mountain Loop. We literally lived in Seattle, downtown Seattle, which is about an hour away from us, about 55 miles south of where we're currently at right here. And we would come up here to the gay campground, and it started our love of the Mountain Loop Highway. And we were able to basically invest in that experience as a seasonal camper. So in other words, we kind of set up a spot in March and left it up there through October, and we'd come out in the weekends and be part of that camping experience out there. And since we were investing in that we said, let's get a yurt, because we had stayed in one prior to that and we loved
Okay,
it.
cool.
There was something about staying in a room with no corners, where your eye is naturally drawn upwards. It has a way of centering the spirit and sort of make you feel like you're nesting a little bit. Plus, the connection to nature outside your door is really enhanced because you feel like you're in a cabin, but you're really in a tent, and it's insulated, and all these wonderful aspects of its efficiencies there make it sort of easy to kind of use as sort of a temporary domicile at the campground. So we would take it down in October and store it in our storage unit in Granite Falls, put it back up in March, and we did that for a number of years. And then we saw the traffic on this road was enormous and growing. Back in 2004, when we wrote our business plan, it was about 250,000 cars per year along this road, and nobody was capturing that traffic at all.
Way.
Yeah, it's because it's just all hiking trails and primitive campgrounds. There were no bed and breakfasts, really. There was no accommodation services, nothing. And we said, you know what? We got the perfect marriage of things that can bring together that notion of hiking and camping, because that was the dilemma out here. You either come out here to hike, you go right to your trail, you don't leave stuff in your car, or you come out here to camp and then you don't leave your campsite because you don't want to leave your stuff alone while you go on a hike. So being a base camp, we're able to provide that service where you can enjoy both. And we wrote that business plan to make manifest the change we wanted to see in the world through hospitality, moving out here to a very economically depressed, very rural, very backwoods attitude kind of land. And we basically said, you know what, we're going to show through commonality and hospitality just how to create community. And that was our goal out here, is make manifest that positive change. And oh boy, we are so glad we did so and put that stake in the ground, because in the years of chaos and turbulence that this nation has been experiencing, we have been in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time, and to make a difference, really becoming change agents for this whole area to rally around. We started with that one little yurt that we brought up to the campground, and we added a few more yurts to that, and we basically rewrote an experience of the family farm. We were trying to differentiate ourselves on kind of how to make our camping experience that stand out, as opposed to these beautiful national forests, again, primitive campgrounds that were on the river and had scenic vistas. We said, you know what, we're going to reinvent the family farm and reconnect people to that farm experience and show it as a different narrative. We're going to show the farm how it enhances ecology, literally positioning our livestock to be land-centric, helping build tilth on land that's a gravel pit. You literally pass 3 quarries coming out to us.
I mean,
so we
granite,
wrote a business plan based on that, based on the traffic alone. We said, you know what, we've got an audience that we can capture here. We can do so by making camping easier and adding those amenities and really targeting folks that say we're campers and hikers, but now have 2 little ones and it's a little tougher. Or maybe they were campers and hikers and now are the older set and they don't want to get off the ground. They want to get off a nice bed, and still have that camping experience. And yurts for us was chef's kiss in that regard, because it provided such a very unique experience. One that was relatable and consistent and repeatable across the board with folks. And so we capitalized on that. And they're perfect for the environment up here. We live in a rainforest. They're perfect for the rainfall. They're perfect for any snow loads. They're perfect for any winds that we get. They're really durable structures in there. Starting out, we actually had started with a blank parcel of land up here. Literally, there was no house that you see us living in here in the background. There was nothing except the driveway that we got onto the land. We literally cleared stumps and logging debris. We built the log home. Then we had to go through the lovely county's rezone and conditional use permit
I was
process.
wondering, yeah.
Yeah, to go backwards in zoning, believe it or not. We went from rural 5-acre designations to FNR, which is a floating zone called forestry recreational up here in our county in Washington State. And for anybody to offer camping on their parcel of land, you have to have a campground permit. It's illegal otherwise. So anybody thinking about putting a yurt on their backyard in Snohomish County to offer camping on sort of third-party websites that offer camping like that, will find out that it's actually a huge liability for them to do so. And you got to have those I's dotted and T's crossed. We learned things in terms of being an operation open to the public. We learned things like, for example, not only that you needed permitting for these for a campground, but we needed to change things like our well. We couldn't offer private well water to a public situation. We had to change our private well into a public water system. Again,
Wow.
people overlook that as well in the state of Washington here. So there were many hurdles we had to overcome, but we knew those on the outset. We had done our diligence. We knew even before buying the parcel of land, we went to the county and said, here's our business plan, which is already written. Here's what we're going to do. How do we do this? And they said, oh, sure. Here's X, Y, and Z, and here's the process. You're just going to have to go through this rezone to get this campground permit. And we did so. And we were successful in getting through that. We couldn't anticipate that rezone process would take longer because we did it during the downturn of the economy, which was about 2007, 2008. And that 120-day process ended up taking them 2.5 years. And tanked our cash reserves, put us $100,000 in debt. So instead of opening to the public in 2007, we opened up officially in 2010 with $100,000 in debt, basically. We tightened our austerity belt. We offered up some primitive spots for tent camping. We utilized our one little yurt. We added a large yurt because that needed to be permitted. So we got a 30-foot yurt installed as well because that's our multi-purpose room space. And we figured what we would do is, tighten our austerity belt. We'd pay off that debt and then start growing. The growth plan was slow and steady growth. And we did just that. We were ready to add a couple more yurts to the property. Then the pandemic rolled around about 2020. So we put off adding yurts for about a year. The next year we did that. We added yurts to make our revenue stream stable because our business plan was predicated on 3 yurts being our revenue stream for guest yurts. And so we added 2 more yurts, which we got from you guys, 16 footers. We installed those, and that really put us in a very good spot for our revenue streams here. In the meantime, that traffic load I talked about in 2004, when the traffic studies we looked at, 250,000 cars per year. I don't know if you're aware of Western Washington is experiencing a huge metropolitan birth, giving birth to a huge metropolis out here. And we've had a lot of people move into the area. So that per year use has gone up considerably. We are now post 750,000 cars per year on this national scenic byway.
In just that amount of time.
Yeah, and we don't do any advertising or marketing really. It's just grassroots marketing on social media. We've never had to. Just put the shingle on the side of the road and we're capturing that passerby traffic. We focused on creating a consistent, repeatable guest experience, something that every guest would experience when they get here, and they would go away with a nugget of knowledge of some sort and want to come back. And we're so proud to say that in the entire time we've been operating, we've watched families come back year after year and seen like a time-lapse shot of their kids growing up from toddlers to teens. So that's how much investment we've gotten from the public. We've had weddings here, we've had memorial services here, we've had special events, we do private ranch rentals. And again, positioning ourselves to add 2 more yurts to the property allowed us to then take the next step, which we did last year, and that was to add spa-like amenities to our ranch here.
Yeah, I saw that on your website. Yeah, it's
Yeah, we
great.
added a huge bathing pavilion with soaking tubs, with a wood-fired hot tub cabana, with a cedar barrel sauna, and an aromatherapy steam room. And that really just put us over the edge here because people are looking for those kinds of things. They're looking
Yeah.
for that rustic resort setting. They're looking for those amenities being there. They're looking for convenience. And we're just checking off all those boxes. Since we focus so much on that guest experience, it allowed us to, again, put something in place that for us became very routine to do. A lot of people worry about burnout and such like that, hosting. Imagine that your house is open to the public daily.
Every day,
Literally.
all day. Yeah.
Yeah, every day, all day, every day, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. My house, and I'm literally in the front section of our house. The residential portion is behind me here,
Yeah.
and we live upstairs. So literally, we have the public out here on the daily, and
You got to keep
to
it
do
clean.
so,
No
yeah,
leaving your dirty laundry around, right, David?
that's right. And in terms of having that on a farm, you can imagine a lot of farms and a lot of livestock operations probably have those things they would like to sweep under the carpet. We could
Yeah.
not do that here at all. And so we actually embrace the totality of transparency, utilizing permaculture principles applied here to this land, where we show how we're sort of leveraging those livestock to bring abundance and robustness to a mountain meadow ecology. And that has allowed us to put everything customer facing and customer forward. We really are a ranch of a different color here. For example, I do not buy off-site materials like chicken feed or alpaca pellets or store-bought feedstuffs for any of our animals. We make everything in-house. We show how we run this farm only on raw materials. And we set an example for people who are maybe doing some backyard chickens or maybe wanting to get into livestock, show them how you can actually use that livestock to actually bring that abundance, bring that robustness to your ecology rather than fighting against it, fighting against things like predators getting after your chickens. We don't close our chicken coop at night here at all. And I've got 60 to 80 in my flock. Anybody coming out here, they don't even know we have chickens of that number or magnitude, even standing next to our coop. They can't
Really?
recognize. There's no smells, no flies, none of those things
Wow.
that you would typically see in a farm experience. We've got that all optimized and dialed in. We very much have matured. We've even won awards for it. The Conservation District locally awarded us Merit Farm of the Year twice, both in 2008 and I believe in 2012. We got those awards from them. And that was just right at the start of our operation here. So we've improved considerably over time. Yurts, of course, are the cornerstone of this operation. I have had people, if I had a nickel for every time somebody has recommended another type of accommodation offering I should have on here, from teepees and canvas tents to caravan wagons to, a bunch of different stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, thank you. I don't need, kitschy offerings. I need something that is proven. And I'll tell you what, yurts fit that moniker entirely up here, given that experience. People really are influenced and affected by a stay in a yurt.
Yeah.
So it goes beyond just the convenience. It goes into that mental capacity, that recharging of spiritual batteries. A lot of those feelings are encapsulated in a yurt. It really just has something magical about that structure, sacred geometry. If
No, seriously, yeah.
oh yeah.
Well, I guess
So
curious when
indeed,
I was just going to say, when it comes to maybe your clientele, those who have come to stay, I imagine because of the traffic you're mentioning, there's a mix of people who are searching you out because they want to stay in the yurt. They've done it. They're, yes, I know what it is. But I imagine you have a lot that have never stayed in the yurt. Say, oh, hey,
absolutely.
honey, this
I
sounds
would
like
say
fun.
the majority of our clientele are not seeking us out because we have yurts here. I would say the majority of our clientele are hearing about us, word of mouth, and the experience here, and they realize that this is a perfect solution for them to both hike and camp and have a base camp and safety. They're not parking cars at trailheads because we have high car prowl areas out here for trailhead prowling, that kind of stuff. So really, fitting the need of the demographic that comes out here is really what it's about. This was no pipe dream. I didn't have a really good hit a pot and say, listen to me, yurts and alpacas, hear me out. No, we saw the need and we
Yeah.
filled it along, again, a national scenic byway that is all tourism, and literally nobody capturing it and addressing those needs. So we changed the whole caliber of it. That caliber of change was really felt by the local community. We're 7 miles away from the town here of
I was
Granite
about to
Falls.
ask. Yeah.
And so we're really not part of that town at all. I only share the postal code with them.
Mhm.
So it's really interesting to watch Granite Falls follow our journey along to the point where we've just become a default attraction out here. So when somebody in town says, a tourist stopping at the gas station, for example, says, hey, what do I have to go see around here? That's, we're new. We don't know what we want to see. They'll say immediately, oh, go see the fish ladder at the falls of Granite Falls, then go out to that alpaca farm, and then go see the big four ice caves. And so we're just a tourism destination.
You're in the list. It's just
We're
there.
yeah, we're in the list to do. All the locals, when they have their friends and family come out visiting, we're a stop along the route. That's just a thing that they do. We have retail related sales of alpaca related products. I like to say we stock the Carhartts of alpacas because it's all hiking socks, hats, scarves, blankets,
Okay.
those the things.
Yeah.
Not really the high foo-foo fashiony stuff, but stuff that really hits our, say, Alaska fishermen and
Yeah. The
folks that
people
are
who need it, what they actually
the
want.
people
Yeah.
who really do, yeah. And so,
Yeah.
and I tease, once you go alpaca, you never go back when it comes to socks, and that's how we hook people. So we get a lot of repeat customers and a lot of repeat guests that are just buying retail from us as well. But again, we're just part of that experience here. 20 years into it now, and we've got something that is going to live beyond our lifestyle, a lifespan here.
Yeah.
We've created something that is going to have some lasting staying power. And we've designed it in a way that is not dependent on these humans that are running it. Not even the farm depends on me. I'm not farm dependent. I can leave this farm for 2 to 3 weeks, come back,
And it's going to be
the
fine.
same.
Yeah.
Same with our hospitality aspect. We've got it so procedurized. We've got the processes identified. And when we added those 2 more yurts, I'll tell you what, one thing that did change for us was how the state viewed us. Because all of a sudden we went from needing a campground permit, which was fine and dandy, to adding 2 more yurts, which are considered structures that are like accommodations. Transient non-community accommodations is the technical term. And that put us over the edge. So we had to apply with the state for a hotel license.
No
So
way.
we
At
are actually
3.
licensed as a hotel here under their categories that they call rustic resorts. So we actually get inspected by the Department of Health every year. And they come out, look at the yurts, and they're like, keep
Good to
doing what
go.
you're doing. Keep
Yeah.
doing what you're doing. We love your bathrooms. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're good. We're good. And so even our Department of Health inspector, we've got that street credibility, that we can lean upon for sort of both permitting, for legality, for, again, all of that establishes a credibility that needs to be built up for a business like us in hospitality. And that's key for a lot of the things that we do. We're just, again, like I said, not a private parcel of land,
Right.
adding a couple camp spots down by a river or something
You're a
like that.
hotel. Yeah.
We're actually, we're a valid above board business that's doing something with some very unique structures.
So here's a question for you, and this is like to help those, looking to start something themselves. We hear a lot from clients where they ask, okay, what do I need to do for permitting? And I'll tell you right now, David, I don't know about every county's permit laws and regulations across the U.S.
They're all different.
They're all different. So everyone,
All
you've heard it here, not just from me. They're all different.
Yes.
So
every county, even the counties here in Washington State, are vary widely.
right.
Like, for example, if you're going to try to do something like this in King County, the county to the south of us, which has the city of Seattle, a major population, you're going to come up against some very firm regulations because they've got such a density of population there. They have to regulate things a little tougher that way. We're 1 county north of them, and even so, the regulations here are very clear about campgrounds and what is camping and what is a yurt and such. In fact, when we first started, this county didn't have codes on the books for yurts, and they had a hard time getting their head around what we were doing.
What is
They
it?
didn't know
Yeah.
whether they would have to permit this or not permit it or what. We were probably the first permitted yurt in the county here with our 30-foot yurt that we
Wow.
actually permitted from them. And they were unsure how to do it. So you know how they permitted it? As an ag storage structure. That's how we got it through and that was the senior planner assigned to us saying, this is how,
Yeah.
because we don't have a code, but you're going to have to get this because this is a big unit
Has to go
here.
under something
Has
because
to
of
go
square
under something
footage
because
and
it's just
height.
the size
Yeah.
of it. Yeah. Whereas our guest yurts, they fall under the realm where they don't need the permit. They don't need a structural permit because they're so small. They're not high off the ground. You know, they're very basic structures in that regard.
Right.
So they don't need an official permit, a building permit with a structural engineered plan on them. So the size of those yurts matter in our county. And a lot of that can have a sway in other counties. Let's say you just wanted to put a yurt in your backyard in King County and it's a 14-footer. They may want you to permit that as a shed of some sort or a background structure.
Right.
But up here, we don't need permits for those smaller structures in here.
Yeah.
In other counties, like go another county north to us, go up to Whatcom County and such like that. You could probably put yurts everywhere. They probably don't even require you to have a campground permit and such like that. Again, I can't speak to that county, but
Right.
from what I hear, like Eastern Washington, a lot looser. And it's very loose in that regard because they don't have the need for those deeper regulations because they don't have the population density. They don't have the population moving in and transforming what used to be farmlands or other usage lands into something else. So a lot of that's going to be determined by the county. But yes, definitely, it goes beyond just structural permits. It goes into the portion where you are bringing the public onto your property. That changes you into a business that needs liability insurance, commercial coverage, all those other, and you got to cross all the T's and dot all those I's for that. So putting up a yurt is the simple aspect of it. It's just what you're going to be doing with those yurts that can kind of add the complexity to it. And especially for those that are planning a business, I say do your due diligence ahead of time. Know what the county regulations with reference to permitting. Know what your Department of Health is going to require as well if you're going to have the public stay on that property, and address all those. Don't try to skirt around them because it just opens up the window of liability for you personally and in that business as well.
Well, and that's your point earlier around how you went to the county with your business plan. I think that's fantastic. It shows that one, you're serious. Two, if you have somebody in the county office who doesn't know what to look for, what is a yurt? You can be like, no, don't worry. I've already looked into it. It should fall in this area. This is what we're applying for. It shows that, yeah, you mean business, so to say. And clearly, years later, now you're a staple for the area. So that's fantastic. I guess I'm curious. So when it comes to, so we got kind of stuff around county permitting, use. Have you had issues with your yurts? Because you are, like you said, in a rainforest. So you've got humidity, weather, looking up pictures. I couldn't tell exactly, but I imagine there's trees around, winds. So what sort of issues have you had over the years?
Sure. Now I'll be quite frank. We've got two types of yurts here. One type of yurt, our guest yurts are all Pacific Yurts. Our big yurt is a Rainier yurt, your competitor. The only reason we went with the Rainier yurt at the time was that because they offered hard featured windows at the time, and Pacific Yurts didn't have those.
Right.
And we really needed something different. And that's probably my biggest challenge with the yurts have been the windows, maybe the overlap of where guest and yurt functionality kind of collides. Art, for example, the yurt you're showing pictured, there's a 14-foot yurt. I have the the dome opener, which is the little, handle in there. And, in your own manual, it comes with warnings. Don't over open it, don't overstretch it, don't overdo it, right? Those are not things you can allow the public to trust on here. As my Department of Health inspector says, whenever he points out a correction and I ask why, he goes, looks me in the eye and goes, people are stupid. And so no argument there. So indeed, for example, we've taken the dome opening option away from that 14-foot yurt so people can't open the dome. We've not really had any issues, for example, of damage to the yurt, like punctures or things like that. People all that worry about like punctures and stuff like that. We've never really had that kind of an issue. I will say that my of the two older yurts, the small 14-footer and the Rainier larger yurt, mostly the issue has been wear and tear of that outside cover and the types of windows we've got on them.
Hmm.
The hard windows on the Rainier yurt, easy peasy. People understand that concept. It's super
Yeah,
easy.
you're opening a window. Yeah,
You're not really going to have even the sliding ones on your new yurts now that you have. Brilliant.
yeah,
Brilliant addition. We're so glad you added those because again, functionality is right there. The 14-foot yurt, you got the outside windows with the little Velcro with the hole. How are they going to roll it up? Are they going to pull off that vinyl window
right.
and throw it on the ground? Are they going to
Where's
roll
it
up?
going?
Yeah,
Yeah,
even how they roll up the shade on that outside window can be problematic. If they roll it inside, the water falls off. If they roll it outside, the water collects in there, and you
mm-hmm.
get a lot of water collection, and that could be damaging. So we have to be cautious about following up with how people utilize the windows on the smaller yurts that are still the vinyl plastic windows.
Yeah,
Those have been problematic, and I really I'm trying to move away from those. If you would have had it on the 14-foot yurt, we would have gotten that and as a replacement as well. When we replaced our side cover with that,
right,
got the same windows on there. And we're glad at least the one improvement that you guys made to those windows was the zipper sides versus the all Velcro
right,
attachment.
right. Big
That
change.
zipper, yeah, I would like to see that actually on the actual plastic window itself as well, a zipper. So it
I
can't
thought
be,
the same thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
can't be
because that's one of the
removed.
issues. Yeah, when you have, I talk to a lot of clients that are either existing clients who's it for rentals or, where other people are involved rather than just the owners, or for new individuals looking. And yeah, glass windows are more expensive. Case in point, there's more material. It makes sense. But I tell them every time if they're hesitant, I'm just like, hold on. Imagine you have those stupid people. Sorry, everybody. They
Yeah,
go in, they want to open it. They're renting a place to stay. They are not, they don't own it. And, I
yeah,
blame hotel culture in a way where it's like, I don't
it's true.
care.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't need to worry about it. That stuff gets treated poorly and it
And those extra
increases
steps of
that wear
having
and
to go
tear.
outside the yurt to open that
Yep.
window. Yeah, that's a challenge. I will say though, you've got a definite edge over your competitors, especially now that you've got those hard windows in there. But some additional kind of technical differences that you see in other yurts, and I've got experience with Pacific Yurts, Rainier Yurts, and a Colorado yurt
Hmm.
at my neighbors that I helped erect over there. The biggest thing I point out to people is that's a huge advantage for the Pacific Yurts is how your yurt outside cover attaches to the deck. It
Mm.
allows you to make a solid seal. You can actually put
Yeah.
some foam or insulation between that, and that is getting screwed to the deck. We actually go a step further. We put Gorilla Tape around the edge of that. So that
Really?
seals
Nice.
all of that in there. We want to prevent any bugs and other things traveling through that. The Rainier yurts, much to their dismay, they wrap under the yurt and don't make a solid seal with the side. It creates a pocket under the deck itself. And that
Uh,
pocket, that's great for mice. That's great
right.
for other things. That is a great transition area for things to get inside of that yurt. And there's
Mm.
nothing else to do about it. When I do get, and this is what I would actually encourage you guys to do is consider some of those competitors and maybe getting to know their technical specifications and offer some improvements. I would love to buy my outside cover from you guys for that Rainier yurt rather than going
Hmm.
back to Rainier, knowing I'm going to get that same, they haven't changed that. No, I'm going to get that
Right.
same kind of response in that. I will say on their larger yurt that their walls do come in sections that zip together or again,
Right. On the
Velcro.
exterior. Yeah.
Yep, and that has some advantages on the larger yurts. And again, it is more pieces to the puzzle, but on a larger yurt, that helps you in terms of you've got to take out a section and replace it. That's a little bit more feasible. And we're doing that this year. The large yurt, just like the small yurt here, which was a little older, we had to replace the side cover and such like that. So too on the Rainier yurt, which is now over 15 years old. I've got to replace those side covers. They are wearing out. Some
Mm.
areas that you can see inside the silver foil, insulation, the reflective
Hmm.
insulation. So we're at that replacement now. And I've got to go back to them for that. But I actually would rather come to you guys because again,
I
I product a little bit more.
yeah.
But yeah, so there's those kind of issues that I think you can capitalize in terms of some of your competitors there.
I appreciate you
But
saying that, David. It's definitely something we have considered, as you can imagine, so much complexity involved in that too.
absolutely,
But
absolutely.
we, and this is, I hear it a lot, so it's not coming directly from me, but we get calls from our competitors here, our competitors' customers quite often. Uh,
No doubt.
Sometimes, yeah, because they want, a different product. Other times because they just don't hear back from the other
That's right.
companies.
That's
And
right.
it's something that I love Pacific Yurts, obviously, right? But I love yurts in general. I want everybody to be successful. I want it to work out. But we have looked at that and considered it as a potential business avenue for the future.
And
Um,
I think that's a
so
very important thing to look at because you guys, in my humble opinion, are top notch. You are right
thank
at the
you,
top of the list.
thank you.
All the technical aspects are very well thought out. The improvements you've made over time are tells us you're listening to your customers' feedback. So yeah, that's that. I'd say that would be the next step there. And if you do so, let me know because I've got a 30-foot yurt I've got to replace side covers
I will, I will.
on.
Oh man. Well, tell me, because I looked, but just I think people might be curious. Maybe this is just me. What animals? I know it's a pivot, but what do you have on site? I've heard chickens,
Yeah.
alpacas. What else do we have?
Sure. We've
Ah,
got a herd of alpacas. We don't do any breeding here. We actually take the culled or rejected animals from breeding herds that would have been put down at about 3 or 4 years of age, serving no purpose to the breeder. They were just extra mouths to feed. We take
yeah,
those males on so they can live a long life as fiber alpacas. But again, they're not here for their fiber. They're here to help us build land. They're high attraction value animals. So they
yeah.
set a beautiful pastoral scene for our guests' experience and just incredible animal to have all around. They have so many advantages over other livestock like goats and sheep. Alpacas do things like they poop in one spot. So if this was a goat
That's
farm,
helpful.
would have to be navigating around goat poop everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are integrated livestock with our flock of chickens that we have 60 to 80 egg layers, but they're here for pasture renovation and bug control efforts.
Hmm.
The eggs we get from them are a bonus, just like the fiber we get from our alpacas are also a bonus because the alpacas are here for their poop because that is what helps us build the
Right.
land.
Got to bring
They're
it
also
back to
here to
life.
yeah, they're also here to prevent succession back to forest and keep us in a meadow architecture here. So we leverage all of them. We even do another livestock that we raise up here are our seasonal run of meat turkeys for Thanksgiving. We run
Oh,
those in
fun.
mobile coops that we call chicken tractors or turkey tractors,
Yeah.
which rotate around the grounds through the season. And we love doing those turkeys because it's a reality check to the public. They actually see the turkey they buy in the store for Thanksgiving and we give them that
Yeah.
little reality check because people come up here and see all of our beautiful chickens and they're like, "Oh, we eat chicken." I'm like, "No, no, you don't eat these guys. They're tough and stringy. They're
Yeah.
like,
You don't
come here,
want
I'll
these.
the turkeys you're eating here. These are your Foster Farm turkeys. These are
Yeah.
and we raise them to the point where again we're a demonstration farm to the public on permaculture and natural farming techniques here. We allow you to come out buy that turkey and not only buy a turkey that's ready for the table, you can come out and point to one in the field and we will take you farm to table. You'll be part of that process.
I love that.
Really connect people to that farm experience on so many levels.
Yeah.
Beyond the turkeys and chickens and the alpacas, I got a few barn cats and a couple dogs here, but that's about it. We
That's
really
still
are not
great.
trying for diversity of a farm out here because we're in the mountains, right?
Right.
Any other livestock I bring up here is going to require infrastructure. Goats and
Mhm.
sheep are going to need housing. Alpacas, they can stay outside out here in this mountain cold. They're native to the Altiplano region of South America. That's a 15,000-foot elevated high desert. This is
Yeah.
paradise for them. So
Right.
really, we chose livestock and we set up this operation to be that land centric, but also to be maintainable and livestock that had so many advantages. Like I don't need really robust gates and fences for my alpacas. They're turf oriented. Whereas if I had goats, they'd be out and everywhere.
Oh my gosh. You got to build a fortress. Yeah.
Yeah, and so indeed, we really were able to design this with a people aspect in mind, with animals that really fit into that mode there as well.
No, it's fantastic. And I love the farm to table aspect. I've got two young children, a 6 and a 9 year old, and we are very open with where does food come from. And I'll
Right.
never forget, no names out there, but we had another family over for dinner, and I don't remember what type of meat it was, but somebody at the table asked, like, "Oh, what is this?" And I was like, "Oh, that's chicken, right?" Or whatever it was. And my daughter was like, "So where does that come from?" I was like, "Oh, those chickens you see running around? Like, yeah, you kill the chicken and then you take out the feathers and like you process meat and here it is." The other family was shocked and very frustrated that I opened that door to like pretty animals are what you eat. I was like, "But come on, we have to
It,
educate.
yeah,
That's
it's
so
very
important."
difficult to, yeah, it's so important, but it's very difficult to close that chasm. Nobody wants to hang a, show you a picture of a carcass and go, look, this is your food. Ah, you need that understanding as well. And so again,
Yeah,
we approach, for example, Turkey Day, we approach that with a great deal of reverence
I
for the
love
circle
that.
of life.
Yeah.
Even when we get to the point where we need to cull an alpaca from
Mm.
the herd because of quality of life issues, we know we've got to step in and do that. We approach that again very reverently. We try to use all that meat from that animal. We try to take its skin and tan it here and become a fur product, that
Huh.
kind of thing. We use everything from that animal. And that culling of an animal is necessary because sometimes if I don't step in and cull that animal who is falling behind in the herd, at best, the herd's going to exile it. At worst, the herd's going to turn on it and try to kill it because that's what
Right.
alpacas would do with a weaker animal in their herd. You don't want that aggressive temperament
Circle of
behind.
life. Yeah.
So yeah, so the shepherd's mantle of responsibilities on the shoulder
Yeah.
of the shepherd. And to explain that to the public, we do so in a very reverent way that makes a little bit more sense than the shock and awe value
Right.
of kind of like
No, I think
reality.
that's beautiful. Because I
That's
mean,
important.
yeah, the herd kicking an alpaca down, while you have guest staying might not be good for business either, let alone the
I mean, I'll tell
morals and
you
the
right now,
education.
I'll tell you one thing that's interestingly exciting. Right, we got a toddler llama here. He's 2.5 years old. All
Oh,
my alpacas are geriatric. My youngest is 16.
oh
They live
wow.
till about 18 to 20, and I've got 23-year-olds here. So they're all very geriatric alpacas, and they're dealing with this. They're dealing with this very young llama right now who's being like a toddler tantrum, so to speak. So they're seeing fights occur. They're seeing the screaming alpaca at the llama. And I'm like, oh God, please forgive me. But you know what? It presents itself as a very much a learning
Yeah.
situation. And we show how we can deal with that and how we go about that aspect. So yeah, nothing is hidden from the public out here.
Hmm.
And again, the yurts have figured right into that
I
model,
love that.
business model for us.
Yeah.
And it just really sets this whole theme as an ecotourism, an agrotourism effort out here, and we really hit the nail on the head. And like I said, we're growing leaps and bounds now. So we have
Well,
plans for more yurts on the property, and when I do, I'll be coming to you to talk to you about two more.
thank you very much for that. And I guess maybe just zooming in on that, from ideation to where we are, we've got, over 20 years, right, in your
Right.
business. Like, what does the future look like for you? I mean, two more yurts. I love that, of course. But
Yeah,
what else are you
our
thinking?
future looks to us having even larger events. We've cut our teeth on private ranch rentals for groups. The large groups that we service out here are 150 persons. They've been
Wow.
coming back. This will be their ninth year this year. Some of those groups coming back. We are now have improved some areas on our land. We have a lower 4-acre amphitheater style meadow, and we've renovated that, built the road down to it, graded it. So now that is an event venue for music
Right.
festivals, for musical events. And we are hoping that this year a producer has contacted us, and we're hoping to be arranging sort of a music festival, which
Oh,
will take us
cool.
up to another level of community involvement as well.
Yeah. Please email me some info, or I'll try to
Right
keep an
on.
eye on social or what have you.
Sounds
Um,
good.
well, well, awesome. Well, David, what I always like to ask, during these customer interviews is if there was, for those that are out there thinking about bringing on yurts, whether it be, yes, put one in the backyard, but for you, like, more targeted towards they want to start a business, they want to start, glamping or renting them. Any advice outside of kind of what we've kind of covered today?
Yeah, definitely. Don't do it as a pipe dream because you love yurts. Do it as something that serves a marketplace need.
Mm.
Like I said, we are on a national scenic byway that had the traffic. Do not say, if I build it, they will come. No, go to where they are going and find the land there and do that aspect. Don't think that
Great
because you've
advice.
got some sort of beautiful scenic vista out in the boondocks that people are going to come out there. Go to where the people are going. Go
Yeah.
to the tourism, go to where tourism is not being captured very well and serve that need first and foremost.
Wise words. Yeah, it's that boondock area. It's going to be hard to get 750,000 people driving through. It's
That's
just
right.
that's going
That's
to be
right.
tough. Yeah. Well, awesome, David. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for
Absolutely,
sharing it.
Colin.
Thank you for being a Pacific Yurts client, and
And
we'll definitely be in touch. Yeah.
yeah, we will be in touch with you for sure because we got more yurts planned.
Yay.
Bye
Awesome.
bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.